Hello and welcome to another episode of the Kid Stories Podcast. I'm Phil Bechtel. Let's get into a shout-out. Kinzel from Buena Vista shared an awesome drawing. That was great, Kinzel. I think if you were a character in the stories, you'd be a rock monster who can turn from a regular kid into a rock monster whenever you want. Thanks for listening, Kinzel. Today's story is titled Return to Arc 19, Part 3. Zara, Finn, and Aria squeezed through the narrow maintenance hallway, the beams of their shoulder lights bouncing around. They kept hearing faint skittering sounds that seemed to come from all around them, but they didn't encounter any more spider bots. After what felt like hours of navigating the twisting tunnels, Zara's shoulder lamp illuminated something ahead. "Look," she said. "I think that's it." They emerged from the little hallway into a huge open space. As their lights swept across the area, they realized they were standing in what used to be the main hub of the mining colony. "Whoa," Finn breathed, taking in the sight. The hub was like an underground city center, like the downtown area of a small town or like a mall, with storefronts lining wide corridors that stretched out in several directions. Dust-covered signs advertised long-abandoned shops and restaurants. A large central plaza featured a dried-up fountain. "It's like a ghost town," Aria murmured, her rifle at the ready as she scanned the area. Zara nodded, a lump forming in her throat as memories flooded back. "I remember coming here with my parents. That ice cream shop over there," she pointed to a storefront with shattered windows. "They had the best rocket pops in the colony." "Yeah, and remember the arcade?" Finn added, gesturing to a dark space filled with silent game cabinets. "I used to beg my dad to take me there after school." A loud clang echoed throughout the hub, making them all jump. "Okay, reminiscing time is over," Aria said, her voice tense. "We need to find that central access point and shut down these bots for good." Zara nodded, pushing aside the bittersweet memories. Right. There should be a helper terminal around here somewhere. If I can hack into it, we might be able to access the entire robot matrix." "There," she said, pointing to a dusty computer terminal with a cracked screen. "That's one of the helper terminals. Let's see if I can get it working." The trio approached the terminal cautiously, Aria and Finn looking all around. "You sure about this, Zara?" Finn asked, eyeing the ancient-looking machine skeptically. "That thing looks like it's been through a war. Which I guess it kind of has." Zara smirked, already tapping away at her wristpad. "Don't worry, I've got all the access codes from the colony's robot engineers. This should be a piece of cake." She connected her wristpad to the terminal, and the cracked screen flickered to life. Lines of code scrolled rapidly as Zara's fingers flew over the interface. Come on, she muttered. Suddenly, the screen froze. Zara blinked in surprise. "What the—" The terminal made an error sound. Then the screen went blank for a second before it flashed back on. Only this time there was no coding interface. It was just a big red X on the screen. Zara?" Finn said nervously. That doesn't look like a piece of cake to me. What does the big red X mean?" Zara's fingers moved even faster, her eyes darting between her wristpad and the terminal screen. "This doesn't make sense. The firewall is way more advanced than it should be. It's like it's learning as I try to break through." "Can you do it or not?" Aria snapped, her eyes scanning the shadows around them. "I'm trying," Zara said, frustrated. "But something's wrong. It's almost like there's a more powerful system controlling it. This isn't the same matrix from before." As if in response to her words, the terminal suddenly shut down with a loud click. The trio stood in silence for a moment. "Well," Finn said, breaking the tension, "I guess the robots don't appreciate unexpected visitors, huh?" Before Zara could reply, a low hum filled the air. Lights began to flicker on throughout the hub, illuminating the dusty storefronts and empty corridors, like someone just flipped a switch and turned everything back on after years of it being abandoned. Aria raised her rifle, her voice tight. "Got a bad feeling about this." The hum grew louder as all the computer systems around them came back online. And then they heard it. the unmistakable sound of heavy metal footsteps. "Zara," Finn whispered urgently, "please tell me you've got a plan B?" Zara's mind raced as she disconnected her wrist pad from the dead terminal. "I'm thinking," she said, trying to keep her voice steady. But right now I think we need to find cover." The three hustled into an old storefront and peeked out from behind the displays. "Oh no," Finn breathed. Marching toward them in perfect formation were 5 sleek, black security bots. Each one stood nearly 7 feet tall, their metal bodies gleaming under the flickering lights. Their eyes glowed red, and each bot carried a nasty-looking laser rifle. Without warning, the lead security bot raised its rifle and fired. A bright beam of energy sizzled past Zara's ear, leaving a smoking hole in the wall behind her. "Run!" Aria shouted, scrambling back and looking around for where to go. The 3 friends scattered as the security bots opened fire, filling the air with deadly laser beams. Finn yelped as a shot nearly singed his hair, and he stumbled into Zara. "This way!" Zara yelled, grabbing Finn's arm and pulling him through the candy shop. Aria was right behind them. She tossed a sparkle bomb at the feet of the security bots. It flashed bright, temporarily blinding the robots by overwhelming their optical sensors. They ran into an old clothing store. Mannequins in outdated clothes stood around them as they scrambled for cover behind a fallen display case. Zara peeked over the edge of the display case, watching as the security bots methodically swept the area outside the store. "Those bots are way more advanced than they used to be," she said, ducking back down. "So what's the plan?" Aria asked, checking her rifle's charge. "Because I don't think we can stay here forever." Zara's mind raced. The original plan was to sneak into the colony and shut down all the robots from one of these terminals. She really thought they could just hack a terminal and shut down the bots that way, and they were so close it had almost worked. But now what? Were they going to actually have to fight all these bots? "We need to—" Zara started, but she was cut off by the sound of heavy footsteps approaching the store entrance. The 3 friends huddled close together, holding their breath as a security bot's shadow fell into the store. For a moment, the only sound was the quiet hum of the bot's systems. Then, in a monotone voice that sent chills down their spines, the bot spoke. "Intruders detected. Surrender immediately or face termination." Zara locked eyes with Aria and Finn. "We came here to get rid of the bots, so let's get rid of the bots." Aria nodded, a grim smile spreading across her face. "Okay then, I guess we're done playing hide-and-seek." Wait, we're doing what now?" Finn squeaked. Zara peeked over the display case again. The security bot was still in the doorway, its red sensors scanning the store interior. "Finn, we need a distraction. Aria, get ready to shoot. I'll try to hack them remotely." "On it," Finn said, his drone whirring to life. The tiny drone zipped out from behind their cover, flashing bright-colored lights right at the security bot's sensors. The bot stumbled back and lifted its arms in front of its robot eyes to block the disruptive flashing lights. Normally, flashing lights are no big deal for an advanced security bot, but Finn had programmed special flash diodes and light spectrum emitters in this drone to confuse robot sensors. "Now!" Zara yelled. Aria popped up, her rifle blazing. 2 precise shots hit the disoriented bot square in the chest, sending it crashing to the ground in a shower of sparks. But there was no time to celebrate. The other 4 security bots were already moving on their position, the tips of their laser rifles glowing ominously. "Finn, keep that drone moving," Aria shouted, ducking behind a clothing rack as laser fire shredded the space where she had just been standing. Zara's fingers flew over her wrist pad, her face scrunched in concentration. Come on, she muttered. But after a few tense seconds, she growled in frustration. "It's not working! These bots are too advanced for remote hacking." "Then we do this the old-fashioned way," Aria said, popping up to fire off another volley of shots. One of the security bots went down, its head a smoking ruin. Finn's drone was darting between the remaining bots, flashing lights and emitting high-pitched noises that seemed to confuse their targeting systems. But it couldn't dodge forever. A lucky shot clipped its side, sending it spiraling into a wall. "No!" Finn cried out, but there was no time to mourn his fallen drone. Zara spotted the fallen security bot's laser rifle lying just a few feet away. "Cover me!" she yelled, and before anyone could stop her, she was sprinting across the open floor. Laser fire sizzled around her as she dove, rolled, and came up with the rifle in her hands. She spun around, squeezing the trigger and taking down another bot with a surprised laugh. "Ha!" Aria stepped out of cover and she joined Zara in blasting the last robot to bits. For a moment, the only sound was the trio's heavy breathing and the crackle of damaged circuitry. We did it," Finn said, his voice a mix of disbelief and excitement. Aria nodded, a fierce grin on her face. "Told you we could take him." Zara was already examining one of the fallen bots. "These really are more advanced than they used to be. But who upgraded them and why?" A soft scratching sound made them all freeze. They turned slowly to see a familiar sight. The small, cobbled-together spider bot from the tunnels, peering at them from behind a fallen mannequin. Zara raised her newly acquired laser rifle, but Finn quickly put a hand on her arm. "Wait," he said. "It's not attacking. Look, it seems scared." The spider bot skittered back a bit, its mismatched parts clicking softly, and one small metal arm partially covering its eye in defense. "Finn, after what we just went through, you want to make friends with a bot?" Aria asked incredulously. But Finn was already edging closer to the small robot, his hand outstretched. "Hey there, little guy. We're not going to hurt you." "Clarification, I might hurt you," Aria said. Zara sighed, lowering her rifle. "Finn, be careful. We can't trust any of these bots." "But look at it," Finn argued. "It's different from the others. It hasn't tried to attack us once." Aria shook her head. "Is there even such a thing as a good bot anymore, after everything that's happened?" The spider bot tilted its head, as if it understood their conversation. It took a tentative step towards Finn, then another. "Zara," Finn said, not taking his eyes off the bot, "can you scan it? Check for any tracking software or malicious code?" Zara hesitated, then nodded. She raised her wrist pad, running a quick diagnostic scan on the small bot. After a few tense moments, she looked up, surprised. "It's clean," she said. "No tracking software, no connection to the main bot network. It seems to be operating independently." Finn beamed. "See? It's not like the others." The spider bot had reached Finn now, and to everyone's amazement, it nuzzled against his outstretched hand like a cat. "Okay," Aria admitted, finally lowering her rifle. "That is kind of cute. Weird, but cute." "All right," Zara said finally. "It can come with us for now, but we need to stay focused. We still have a job to do." As they prepared to move on, Finn gently scooped up the spider bot. It settled contentedly in his arms, its little legs curling up. "I think I'll call you Sparky," Finn said with a grin. The end. Thanks for listening, friends. The website is kidstoriespodcast.com. Send all your drawings and story ideas and shout-out requests to kidstoriespodcast@gmail.com. Adios.